Welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen. Three Bold Takes. I'm Freddie, and I'm joined by Quinn and Chase here. As you can see, we're doing more college football picks week 6 this time. We have about 6 games that we're going to pick. Real quick, our updated records so far through week 5. Coming in the rear here, we have Quinn at 10 and 11. Not ideal. Then you got me coming in right in the middle here at 12 and 9, which is not ideal. But Chase, look at him, 15 and 6 on the year. We wanted to update you guys on how we're doing because we are getting flamed in the comment section. So hopefully we can turn this around and make you guys look bad. Now we have the big SEC matchup of the week here at 2:30. We have Alabama, who is ranked 11th in the country, traveling to Texas A&M, who is unranked, and Alabama is favored by 3.5 points in this game in College Station. The matchup predictor, again, has Alabama 66% chance to win this game. Chase, talk to us, buddy.
So this game, if you don't remember a year ago, Alabama escaped with their tails. You know, they won by 24-20. And that one was at Bryant-Denny. And then also this was when Jalen Milroe got inserted into the starting lineup because Bryce Young got hurt. And we saw a lot of chaos from Milroe in that offense during that time. Now, I haven't really been. We've discussed Alabama quarterbacks. We've discussed Alabama's schedule this year a lot, and I haven't been sold on Milroe mainly because the offense hasn't been catered to him. They haven't built a scheme to help him out. The last couple of weeks for Alabama, the Mississippi State game, though, the second half of the Ole Miss game, I've seen a lot more scheme for Jalen Milroe to use his legs to work to what his arm can do, and then also for him to make quick decisions. Earlier on in the year when they were still figuring out their quarterback carousel, none of that was happening. You had a bland offense that came from Notre Dame that fit an Ian Book and Everett Golson, those kind of guys, and didn't fit an Alabama quarterback like Jalen Milroe. And now that they're catering it, you're seeing the offense pick up a lot more. The Ole Miss game didn't really pick up till the second half. You saw it all of Mississippi State. They picked up the pace on offense. They looked great. But Austin just got off again and mentioned that Texas A&M's front seven is really dangerous this year. Their defense, you've got to give kudos to Texas A&M. I came in really hating Texas A&M. I still hate Texas A&M because I think Jimbo is more of a fraud than half the other coaches that I could even name in college football. But they have played some quality guys too. They played Auburn, who just played a really good game against Georgia. They also played Arkansas, who played a pretty good game. They played Miami. They lost to that Miami team. But this Texas A&M team, their defense is unreal. They're playing really, really good defense. And now you just lost your starting quarterback, though. Insert Max Johnson from LSU, the transfer, and he's going to get a shot at it. I think he's going to be more – I think he could be more trouble in a Bobby Petrino-led offensive scheme than Connor Weigman could have been. And if Bobby Petrino is calling plays the full game, I believe Texas A&M wins this game. But I think Jimbo gets too big for his britches. And I think he kind of pulls back late in the game when it's close. I think this is going to be a close game. And I think Jimbo's going to start calling the plays. So the main thing I'm going to watch in this game is Milroe, what he can do against this defense. And if it looks good early, him running the ball, and then also the running backs being able to run, I think this is going to be an Alabama win. So I'm going to stamp it there. I'm going to say it close. I'm going to say this is a 28-27 game. Alabama takes it.
You look at Alabama the last 2 weeks after the USF game, they have started to hit their stride offensively. The team has been good defensively pretty much all season, aside from a couple drive, like one drive in the Texas game. You could say two if you want to talk about the last drive of the game, but really I'd say one, which is the touchdown drive after they took the lead, or after Alabama took the lead. With Texas A&M, they laid that stinker at Miami, but outside of that, they played pretty good. And you look at the matchups for this game specifically, Texas A&M is going to be able to actually threaten in the passing game, which is something that Mississippi State never really struck me as a team that was capable of doing. They definitely lean heavy on the run this season, which is a little off-putting given they still have Will Rogers, and you've seen him running the air raid for the last few years, but they are a running team. Alabama's one of those teams you don't run the ball on. You just don't do it. You don't do it against them. You don't do it against Georgia. Texas A&M will be able to throw. They're going to be able to hit on the perimeter. I think front seven wise, they have the athletes in the middle of the field to hold up against the run game, and that's going to be the most important thing for them. If you wanted to, in my book, if you wanted to like put two highlights on what Texas A&M has to do to win this game, got to win one-on-one shots on the outside with their receivers, or at least scheme them open to allow for chunk plays in the pass game. And they've got to hold up on the defensive interior against McCellum and Williams, Alabama's running back. I don't think they're going to have much issue against Alabama's passing game or Milroe's legs. I think they have the athletes in the secondary to hold up. I think the ultimate X factor of this game, one, it's a two-pronged thing. Jimbo has brought his A game every time they played Bama since 2020. You look at the 2020 season, Alabama blew out everybody by double digits except for Florida. And of the double-digit losses, the Texas A&M game was the closest, for whatever that's worth. 2021, Texas A&M gets the upset in Kyle Field. 2022, they play a really close game with Alabama. I think the difference in this game is Alabama's inability to protect and pass pro. I think Texas A&M will be able to get a lot of pressure on Milroe, force some mistakes, gain some heavy momentum in Kyle Field, and I think Texas A&M pulls off the upset over Alabama once again in Kyle Field.
Okay, Quinn.
Wow. Yeah. So coming into this year, guys, if you watched our schedule previews, I had Texas A&M beating Alabama this year, and that being Alabama's only loss, and quite frankly, Texas A&M's only loss. But I think if you stick to your predictions preseason and never change, then you're not really watching football games in the year. Your pride gets in the way. And I've watched football games since that prediction. Obviously, this is going into week 6. Alabama's defense is unreal. It's one of the best that we've seen in a long, long time. Finally, they were able to get some turnovers against Mississippi State last night. I think we had 3 interceptions. For what it's worth, one was a pick 6, and they were all 3 really good interceptions. Texas A&M, to me, is a team that you don't know what offense you're going to get at all, but their defense is going to show up. And that's just how Texas A&M has been, honestly, since they joined the SEC. I mean, their defense is normally pretty good, and their offense, besides Johnny Manziel, is average to subpar sometimes. But they still find a way to upset teams and beat teams, especially Alabama. This game being at Kyle Field definitely scares me. I think it's one of the top 3 atmospheres in all the SEC. The 12th man with that many people, it's unmatched in the tradition there. Alabama's a 3.5-point favorite in the game. I think Alabama goes to Kyle Field and gets the win and covers the spread. I think if Alabama's defense was last year's defense, I wouldn't pick Alabama to win the game. But I see the defense this year that they finally got on the turnover chain, or the turnover train, rather. And I think that they're going to force 1 to 2 turnovers in this game that's really going to change the momentum. Maybe when Texas A&M is backed up in their own territory, interception, fumble, something like that's going to happen in this game that's going to ignite the Alabama offense, because they have played better. I mean, let's just take a step back and understand that they have played better since the USF game. Just plain and period. Obviously, Jalen Milroe is a quarterback. He didn't play in the USF game, so that has something to say about it. But they have been playing better, and I like what I'm seeing. They are making improvements, and that's what I've wanted to see week to week. I think they've made enough improvements so far this year, though, to beat Texas A&M. Like I said, I think they cover the spread, but it being 3.5, I think they maybe win by 5 points, maybe. That 3.5 number is very, very tricky because of obviously the field goal situation. But give me Alabama, and give me Alabama to cover the points as well. Thanks so much for watching. It's been 3 Bold Takes. This has been our Week 6 predictions. We've done a plethora of these so far this week. If you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. We've got a lot of comments recently, and we're loving all the ones that's been coming our way. You guys have been showing some great love and hate, but we're here for it. So for the guys over at 3 Bold Takes, I'm joined by Quinn, Chase, I'm Freddie, and we're out. We'll see you next week.